So thank you so much, Ninon, for being able to have this conversation with the SDG Impact Series today. It's a pleasure to meet you. So for the audience, could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, well, first, thank you so much for having me. So, my name is Ninon Gouronnec, and I'm a cook teacher at the GoodPlanet Foundation here in Paris. So, I basically teach to students, but also like corporate and even like friends or people who join us on weekends, how to cook for much sustainable meals.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm trying to explain why it's so important today to eat vegetarian, local, and organic, and how to do it. So that's basically my main job, and I also cook on television, and I also write articles for press and media.
That is wonderful. First, congrats for that. And second, can you please tell us a bit more about the Good Planet Foundation? What is the mission? What is the purpose behind it?
So the main purpose of the foundation is to show to people how to be more sustainable in everyday life, like in
Mhm.
everyone's life and
Yeah.
everyday life. So we basically have two sides. We have one side which is more all around the world. So we try to help companies and even the countries to reach more sustainable energy, a sustainable way of living. So it's very based on carbon offset action. And we also have a place here in Paris where we can introduce everyone to sustainability, and it's more like a cultural place. So we have concerts, we have conference meetings, meetups, and activities and stuff like that. So it's basically very two sides. We have one more very big side, which is based on carbon offset, and the other one is more cultural stuff.
Yeah. So basically, you're trying to raise awareness about both social and environmental issues and run
Yes.
a different set of activities to achieve that. So you mentioned you worked with companies, with institutions. What kind of activities are you doing exactly? You mentioned some of them, but like, so how you're having an impact? Like what kind of activities are you doing exactly? Not just
We
you, but the Good Planet Foundation.
Yeah, sure. We try to escort them to like reach a sustainable project and to achieve goals,
Uh-huh.
to achieve with them how to push and go forward
Yeah.
and uh, see beyond like sustainability. It's a very big word, and we try to put that in action and help them to reach this goal and to ask themselves how we can be better, how we can do better, and what are people expecting us to do as a company. It's very different. We don't have the same goal when you're an individual or when you have a company. It's very different. So we try to help them, and it's very important for us to show that as a company or as individual we can do stuff, and we can be better for a better world.
Yeah.
That's the main goal, I think.
Okay.
Not trying to speak for my
No,
colleagues,
no,
but
no, but
for
it's
me, that's
it's
that.
great. So would you be able to tell us more about the projects that you're supporting? So how does that work? How do you select them? Companies reach out to you, they come with a mandate, and yeah, who are you working with exactly? Is it only in France? Is it internationally as well?
No, it's in France and also all around the world. We basically we have main enterprise who come to us, and we don't need to call for them.
Okay.
We are famous now enough to
Yes,
have
I
this
saw that.
this lucky like yeah opportunity. So basically, they came to us, and we work together to achieve project that seems interesting for us and for 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 me, like for the foundation as well. And we also like to build project and go and see like enterprise or companies or even institution to present them and to say, oh, we have this big project, we would like to work with you. We think you have facilities or even knowledge we don't have. So maybe we can put our forces together and work together. So this is very important. And we have very a range of activities that's very large. For me, I'm very I work specifically in the food environment. And just to give you an example, I work on a zero waste food project, and we reach one of the biggest companies of in France. We have in public school you can have lunch for a very tiny amount every day when you're like a student. And on the first grade, second grade, and third grade, and we work with them to like reduce zero waste, to reduce the waste of the food every day. And this is very important because you can work with companies that are on the which are every day on the field, you know.
Yes.
When you're building project and it's like out of the water, it doesn't connect with the everyday struggle. It doesn't seem so interesting, and so.
That makes a lot of sense. And so basically, you mentioned foods, but what other topics are you covering at the foundation?
We also cover biodiversity, carbon offset, and basically, and also a water, ocean. We are very lucky to have like my chief. my chief is an oceanographer in French, so I don't know what's the name for it, but basically it's like the main expert of water and ocean environment. And it's very important to us because like the earth is full of water, and it's very it's gonna be a problem in the environment and for the climate. So we also cover that actually. So it's very like all the main of
that is wonderful. So how would you define the different roles that you have, not you personally, but the different kind of roles, position that exists in the foundation? You have scientists, you have educators, you have researchers. So I think it's like a bunch of people, a network of people who have diverse roles, right? So what other roles do you have at the foundations? Not correct.
Yes.
This was just an idea, but that was from my understanding. But was it accurate to you?
No, you're right. You're perfectly right. Yeah, I think like the foundation is like it's very diverse, and we have a lot of diversity here. We don't have people who just came for like a big school or a very linear way of living or to learning. No, it's very like we encourage experience, and we want to have the best people in their main like main studies, but we also think we can learn and we can grow. So every day we try to grow as well, as a foundation, as a company, and as individual too. So yeah, we have scientists. We also have like project manager. We have mediator. So it's like people who are dedicated to learn and teach to other people how to do something, like how is the climate so important, how to reduce waste at school, how to eat vegetarian, etc. So we have this as well, and we also have we have communication staff also, because it's very important to show to people and to tell people what we are doing. Otherwise, it's not seeing, you know, and it's very important to share, like spread the good the good word. And we also have a cultural staff, because as we open to the public every weekend, it's very important to stay aware of what we can, like writers we can invite, people we can invite to a conference to organize, concert, etc. So it's very diverse, because we have a company, but we also a foundation, and we also got this place to entertain every day. So it's like a three-dimensional thing.
That is
So
absolutely
three-dimensional
wonderful.
people.
No, that is absolutely wonderful. Now I wanted to go back to Yann Arthus-Bertrand. I think that he is quite famous, but for the ones in the audience who wouldn't be familiar with him, can you please yeah, tell more about his story? So he's the one presiding the foundation, but
Yes.
what is his story exactly?
So back in the day, Yann Arthus-Bertrand was a pilot, and he started to cover the Dakar, which is a very famous cruise here in France, in the desert. And he was starting as a pilot, and then he became photographer, and he used like this device to be up in the air to take photograph, and that's why he's very famous, because when you have this point of view, everything seems different, and you show like beautiful stuff, and one like plenty, not one, but plenty of his photographs are now very famous all around the world. But it was also like being able to see the earth from up in the air was very, I think, I don't want to speak in his name, but it was his aha moment, you know.
Yeah,
The aha moment in environment is when you click something in your mind, click, and you're like, oh my god, that's the earth, that's what we are doing as human to our biodiversity, our environment, and we cannot continue as that.
yeah.
And usually this aha moment is for like astronauts when they see the earth from the highest platform, I don't know.
Yeah,
So it's very important to have this moment in your life, because that's when you can go forward and be more aware of what you're doing. And so that's what is moment for him, and he just discovered like, oh my god, but like the sea, it's covered in plastic, or when you're like uh, up around like a very big farm in USA, and you saw all these like animals. It's not very, suddenly you have to do something. You cannot stay, and he decided to open this foundation to do something and to make his part for the world, and to show the reality of today's environment, and also to teach to people how to be better and how to actually just do something about it. So
yeah.
that's why he decided to do that. And now he's not a pilot anymore, and he's just spreading like his experience and his world all around the world.
Yeah, that
And
is
sometimes he is at
yeah.
the foundation too.
Yeah, that's no, it's wonderful. I've been following him for years. Even watched obviously his documentaries, Humans, which is one that is very striking
Yeah,
to
he's a
me.
filmmaker now. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, Yann. Yes, he's a filmmaker now. He's a
yeah.
director.
Yeah, and I think that was very powerful. I remember the documentary he made, the 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 power of the images, because you have some kind of
Yeah,
storytelling, but the images speak for for themselves.
it's
And
like a proof, you know, like one of the
exactly,
best proofs you can have. And
exactly.
also, I think it's very interesting because it was kind of like part of the the, the before world, you know, like
Yeah,
when everything was normal and we didn't talk about climate back then, and then he had this like just in front of his eyes, like, oh my god, we are doing that to the planet, and it just switched his mind, and that's very interesting, because now I saw in like younger people that it's very they are very aware of what we are doing. They are very aware of like the earth is dying, and all this like Friday for climate stuff. But back then it wasn't like very uh, like a discussion. It wasn't a topic on the table, and the fact that he was part of this generation and he just switched his mind, and now he's trying to do better. That's very important, and it's very not so frequent, like not so common. today. So that's great.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all this perspective. So if we go back to Good Planet, can you please tell me more about again the impact that you have overall and how do you measure it? Because you work with so many companies, so many organizations. Yeah, how do you have an impact and how do you measure it?
Well,
It's
it was
complicated, I
very,
guess.
yeah, no, it's a great question actually. Well, me, every day I try to have an impact by talking to people, by asking for feedback, like what do you need? What are your questions? How can I help you to reach this goal of sustainable eating? What are you liking? It's very important, I think, because like that, I can answer the question. If I'm not asking, I'm going to provide information, but it's probably not the information they are missing to
Yeah.
actually switch habits, change their mind, be convinced to do something, etc. So asking for feedback is very important to me. And I think also for people working here at the foundation. And we also count how many people we can we receive every day and every weekend. Just to give you an example,
Yeah.
last year 20,000 people came to the foundation. That's pretty big,
Yeah.
and it's like students, companies, and families, friends on weekdays, weekends. So it's pretty big, and we are very proud because maybe on those like 20,000 people, maybe 10 people change stuff. Maybe 20 were like, oh, the concert was great, but I'm not gonna do a cooking class on vegetarian because I'm not interested, etc. It's okay. If we just
Really.
convince 10 people, it's already great. So
Yeah, and it's not, I think it's not just convincing 10 people. I think it's somehow it's still in the back of your head because you've been exposed to it, right? So the importance
yeah,
of educating people is
it's
massive.
like a seed in everyone, like in 20,000
Exactly.
minds,
It's
and
exactly
maybe
that.
someday.
It's exactly that. That's exactly how I see it. And just exposing people to what exists, to solutions, because we talk all the time about problems. We talk all the time about
Yeah,
how the planet is dying, how we have social inequalities, and obviously it's important to point this out. But at the same time, solution exists, and I think that we need to make a massive collaboration effort, and it's a really good way to have an impact, to gather as many people as possible and exposing them to
yeah.
solutions that exist. So I think that that's what you've been doing, and it's yeah, it's pretty inspiring. So thank you so much, thank you so much for your insights today. I have one last question for you. Could you please define Good Planet in 3 words? What would you say?
Um,
Yeah, pas de
so
souci.
yeah, I think Good Planet main goal is to be to well, 3 words. It's very complicated. To be reachable, to make the sustainable way of living reachable. So I
Yeah,
would say reachable. I would say just good because when you have this certainty
hmm,
and this core value inside you, you just feel so good and you just feel so it's very cheesy. I'm sorry, but
no,
very
it's fine.
full around you, and you can do the best for the people around you and for the planet. And I think it's very important. And sometimes we lack like good people, and there are so many good people and good ideas and good solution to empower to make the world better. So I think yeah, the good is very important. So yeah, reachable, good, and I would say makers, because as we have this carbon offset pole in the foundation, we actually have makers, we have association, we have institution who make the world better. So I would say we also we have makers. We are makers because we work with institutions and associations who do stuff and who make stuff and build stuff to make the world a better place. And yeah, we try to do that every day.
That is
But in a good mood, in a
that
good
is
mood.
incredible. Yeah, it's always important to be in a good mood, to surround
Sure.
yourself with people that, yeah, just share a great share be have a great atmosphere, and have people that get along, and that are motivated, and um and yes, just enjoy what you're doing. I think is so important. So when you have an impact and you're enjoying what you're doing, I think it's jackpot.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you again so much. Do you have any last comments, any thoughts you'd like to share with the audience, maybe?
No, please come at the foundation. That
Yes,
would be my last word.
roger that, roger that. Well, thank you so much, and hopefully we
Thank you,
can meet in
Sean.
person next time. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.